Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me in this video. This is my first video in over a year. I think it's definitely been a while, but hello, I'm back. Um, so in this video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about where I have been and where my headspace was early last year, so 2023, and just how I felt very stuck with where I was in life and how things felt very stagnant. It felt like I wasn't making any progress, and I just wanted to talk about why that was and how I kind of got out of that headspace. So, in a sense, I guess I was having, I was going through this quarter life crisis, even though I'm not even at that point of my life yet. So, a bit too early for that, but we lived through it. So, long story short, I was diligently working on a shop update. I had a solid plan, things written down, and I was making great progress. Um, and I felt pretty good about how I was going to, get that shop update like April 2023 latest. It was supposed to be like February, March, and then got pushed to April, and it kept getting pushed back. But essentially, the first quarter of 2023, it just hit me that, I was very close to graduating. And with that came the question of now what? And I just, yeah, I guess the problem in itself was just that I felt stuck. I had so much I wanted to do, to learn, and to accomplish, and I didn't know where to start because there was just so much, like so many options and so many things that my heart kind of went, like, how do I say this? Like, my heart just wished for. And none of these things were things that I could accomplish overnight. They weren't things that I could just invest a few hours and be done with it. They were things that would require me to invest time. I would have to be dedicated. And they were just generally things that would require a lot of time investment, and it would be more like long-term goals before you kind of start seeing results. And because of that, I didn't really know how to prioritize, especially since they all seemed so important to me, right? Like I wanted to study all these things, learn all these things, and accomplish all these things. And I wanted to do those things because they were important to me. And I kind of had this issue of, like, I was faced with a decision paralysis. I how do I the best metaphor, well, not the best metaphor, but like an example that I can give is if you have, say, like 10 different food options in front of you, you're kind of it's all in front of you, and for a moment you're kind of stuck and you kind of don't know which one to start with. So that was me, but instead of lasting a couple of seconds, it lasted a couple of months. um, And yeah, some of the things I want to accomplish, I guess I'll just share them as well, was related to my art, of course. The shorter goal, well, not the shorter goal, but the um, short term goal was my shop update. And then from there, I knew I wanted to explore my style a little bit more. I wanted to post on YouTube more. I wanted to be part of local art markets. I wanted to um, have a show one day, and that was just art alone. And so, my other goals, I wanted to travel after graduation, I wanted to see the world, but also at the same time, I know that I have to work. So, it was like, okay, then which one do I choose? What do I go for? I also want to really study my religion. I want to learn a new language. I want to pick up all these different hobbies. I also wanted to work out and exercise more. So there's just a lot of things that would require me to figure out how I could achieve all these things, especially since they would require a lot of time investment. And if they didn't require time investment, it would be tough to just juggle them all together. So that's the problem. How did I get out of that space? So, first, of course, I spoke to friends and family, and a friend of mine recommended that I do this grid where I categorize things. So, let's say on our one of our axes we have urgent, non-urgent, and then the other axis is important, not important. And you would essentially place things as, let's say, urgent, not important. Well, if something is urgent, it would be important, but yes, anyways. Um, or you would go, it's important to me, but it's not urgent, like that type of thing. But unfortunately for me, everything fell under the important, not urgent category, right? Because I don't have to urgently learn a language. I don't have to um, urgently have a solo show or like a collaboration with other artists, hopefully sometime in the future. I didn't have to do these things urgently, but they were important to me. So I didn't really get too far with that. And one day, as I was scrolling through YouTube, I came across this YouTube Shorts, and I'm trying, I'm going to summarize it because I don't remember exactly what the short said to the point exactly, but in an essence, it was saying how between if you have option A and option B, a lot of people tend to think of it in terms of option A or option B, right? And this kind of limits your critical thinking. This puts you in this little box where you're not, where you feel this obligation to make a choice, whereas the mindset can be something along the lines of option A and option B. So not option A or B, but option A and B. And I guess it's a very simple piece of advice, but it was just a very aha moment for me. Just because I think by always thinking, okay, I needed to choose between these things, I had to, prioritize one thing over the other. I needed to, just make a decision and stick to it and neglect all these other important things. It felt like I had to make a decision, but none of the decisions would be a healthy decision because it would mean ignoring all the things that I was passionate about and I really cared for. So the thought of doing option A and option B just made me realize that, you know what, if I want to reach my full potential, I need to stop limiting myself. I need to think outside the box. I need to problem solve, and I need to make sure that I make this happen. Because ultimately, these are the things that I care for. They may not be urgent, but they're important to me. And I want to see them happen. I want to accomplish these things. And I will find a way, inshallah, to make it happen. And on top of that video, of course, I was having a lot of conversations with my mom as well. And my mom is my number one support system. And it's been really helpful to just hear her opinions about how I can juggle these things together. How, again, I don't have to make a choice between two things or three things and just stick to one of them. But I can do all of them. Like, I have the capacity for it. And if I wanted to, I could. And that's kind of where I got out of that crisis, that quarter life crisis. So I started working on my shop updates again. I think it was around April 2023. But then with internship, school, moving, all that things, I put my shop update back in a pause. But, good news, I'm back to posting on Instagram and now on YouTube. I'm also working on a shop update. Hopefully, it will be up by the end of January. I'm saying it now so that I actually stick to it. So, in terms of my next steps, you may be wondering why I am posting on YouTube and on Instagram now, why I'm doing more art all of a sudden, and just why now, especially since I still have a semester of school left. So essentially, last semester was chaotic. It was exhausting, but I felt pretty good about how I managed it. I felt pretty good about how I allocated my time. And I just feel like this semester, if I can keep up the same habits and the same consistency, I should be able to have time for all the things, or at least a majority of the things that are important to me. And I've actually already implemented some of the things I wanted to already. So once final exams were over, I tried to make it a habit to exercise more frequently, more consistently. And my hope with that was that I could make it a bit of a habit before school started again, just so it would be easier to carry it over. And I also have a plan slash schedule for my art and my kind of religious studies side of things. Now it's just essentially all up to me to be disciplined, to be determined, and to just stick to it. Now, the goals might change, maybe the schedule or the plan won't work, but I will simply reevaluate and keep moving forward. I really didn't like the feeling of being stuck and just not making any progress at all. And I don't want to be there again. So my mindset now is just some progress is better than none. So I'll keep moving forward, inshallah, and I'll continue to reevaluate if things aren't working and adjust things from there. And like I said, just keep moving forward and see where things go. If things end up changing, I will for sure. I shouldn't say for sure, I'll probably make a video and just talk through what has changed, what are my plans, my goals, and what the next steps are going to be. But for now, I do have a decent idea for YouTube and my art and shop update and stuff. So yeah, thank you for tuning into this video, even though it's been a long, long time since my last post. And I hope to see you in my next one.